edition of the Sports Report. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. Once again, it is the Barnes and Tony show.
Oh, yeah.
We are breaking decimals over here. How are you, sir?
Oh, my God, dude. We are doing well,
I startled
dude.
you a little bit. I saw it.
Yeah, a little bit. It was hot. It was very hot, dude.
Well, you got to come in with that energy.
Of
It's
course,
Monday,
of course,
a week ahead.
Yeah, you got to
the
wake
weekend
the
that
people up,
was.
dude.
How many hours for you last night?
Oh, honestly, dude, overslept. I was a little tired yesterday. So through my alarm this morning, I got 8 hours.
Wow.
Just like that, dude.
I probably was around 8 myself. You know,
Wow.
I feel like we're usually in the 6 category.
Yeah.
So 8, that's heavy. It's almost too much, you think?
Honestly, it's almost like I overslept, and now I'm tired because I overslept, dude.
Yeah.
But no, it felt good to wake up, and I was like, my eyes were already wide open. I was like, wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was the cold, the snow. I was bundled up in my
the
blanket,
smell
dude.
of the coffee.
Oh, dude.
Michael.
Michael,
Baby.
Theophil. Oh, baby. That's what it's all about right there. 8
Always
hours.
right on the head. 8 hours,
Obviously.
of course.
Speaking of on the head, too, prefer ghostly forkball coming to the Mets, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, so we will definitely get to Kagawa 2.0 in a sec.
Oh,
Oh, come on.
No. It's okay, dude.
But we will definitely talk some baseball. But of course, it's Monday. It's time to recap the world of the National Football League.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. To Evans, touchdown, Tampa Bay. How about that throw? Sam Darnold blasted. Oh my goodness, did he take a hit? In trouble once, brings him down. Lost one for Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down, touchdown.
All right. So a little bit of a rough Sunday for the locals. The Giants get blown out. We'll talk about that in a sec. And the Jets lose another tough, close game. In a game where, points were tough to come by. The final score being 20-12, the Bills over the Jets, but was a scoreless game the entire first half up until the last, 30 seconds. The Bills finally find pay dirt, to make it 7-0. And it was tough, too, because the Jets were almost out of dodge there, looking to, hold them to just a field goal. But with 26 seconds left, Dawson Knox from 24 yards out. That made it 7-0 Buffalo. The Jets did answer back with my guy, Zonovan Knight, quickly becoming one of my favorite New York Jets. Another 71 yards on the ground yesterday, including a 13-yard touchdown run. So that tied the game at 7. Josh Allen answers back with his own touchdown run to make it 14-7. And then Tyler Bass, a 38-yarder to make it 17-7. He added another 49-yard field goal in the fourth quarter to make it 20-7. But the Jets score on a blocked punt. They get a safety to make it 20-9. And then Zerloin at the end of the game, kicking that field goal on fourth down from 26 yards to make it 20-12. Don't recover the onside kick. Don't stop them. And they fall to the Bills here 20-12. And, it's a tough game. Mike White running for his life all game. And I think, the injuries on the offensive line, they've been without Vera Tucker for a lot of this season. Mitchell just had the blood clot issue. So you got some guys that weren't expected to be starters on this offensive line playing meaningful snaps here. And that's why you're kind of seeing it. And while White was sacked 3 times, he was really running for his life. Took a couple shots to the ribs, had to leave the game once. Joe Flacco came in, of course, fumbled. They did send him to the hospital after to check on those ribs after the game. I haven't heard anything really As far as an update, let's see, is there anything on this article? If we scroll down,
Oh no, do the ad.
doesn't really look like
Yeah.
there's anything. But obviously he took some shots. I mean, you'd imagine, unless those ribs are broken, that he'll be able to start next week against Detroit. We'll see. In this game, he worked with what he had. He didn't turn it over, but obviously didn't lead them to a touchdown drive, 27 of 44, 268. And I just think, if he had more time to throw, and also, I mean, you think about the 2 fumbles, one by Joe Flacco, one by Michael Carter. Without those, I mean, it's easy to say maybe 23-20 Jets is which I had this pegged from the start. But obviously, if this, if that. So I just look at this, and while, he obviously didn't step up and lead them to a victory here, I don't so much look at this as a fault of his own, more so the offensive line for him getting beat up all day and him having the wherewithal to stick in there, to leave the game, to come back in. He was clearly in pain, and when he had time to hit the open guy, he did. So not in any way do I see this as an indictment on Mike White here in this 20-12 loss to the Bills. How did you see it, Tony?
I guess I could agree. By the way, it says Mike White, their update, no firm diagnosis, but presumably ruling out any internal injuries. He flew home with the team yesterday, which is nice to hear because those hits got pretty ugly. But I don't know. I think there's definitely some fault of Mike White. I think it's more of a fault on the Jets as an organization, just because, and obviously, watching the game, I was listening to Tony Romo a lot, who does a phenomenal job in analyzing the game. Continues, dude, like week in, week out. Like he just either calls plays and is correct, or just has great analysis.
So excited.
He really is, dude.
He's
so
he
into
wants to
it,
be
dude.
out there still.
He really does. But he was analyzing one of their last drives where they were looking to kind of score here. But instead they settled for the field goal, I believe. Yeah, and he was saying how I think it was like a 4th and 1 on like the 10-yard line or something, or even like the 6 or whatever. Salah elects to go for the field goal. And he was saying, like, why wouldn't you? Because you would presume the Bills are covering the end zone to like run like a run play of some kind. Either what it would be Mike White to take it or to just get headed off or something, get the first down, and then you have some more downs to work with and get a touchdown. And then you can take it from there instead of trying to kind of force, a defensive stop and then praying that you get a touchdown on the last drive, go for the 2-point conversion and whatnot. And you probably would have shaved off the same amount of time, honestly, maybe 10 more seconds, he was saying, if you're able to get that first down, settle and kind of recollect and everything, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then, of course, putting in Joe Flacco, I think, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Brian, but wouldn't you rather have like Wilson go in there?
No,
Absolutely
not. Because I just think if Mike White, running for his life, ribs screaming in pain, can throw for 268 and not turn it over. Zach Wilson in the same circumstance, I'm thinking a couple fumbles, a couple picks. And it's just the O-line, has to do their job. Luckily,
they dropped the ball for sure.
Compared to what they're going to deal with next week against the Lions, I think they'll, compared to the Bills in this game, I mean, I think that they'll have enough to protect against them, and you'll see difference. Obviously, the key is going to be containing Aiden Hutchinson, the second overall pick in this year's draft. But yeah, I just don't think that really. I look at this and White's fault. Really at all.
I mean, honestly. He had a shot though at the end of the game. They had the ball in their hands and they couldn't even get a first down. They couldn't do anything, so.
Yeah, but I just think duress, you can't be under duress the whole game. And we've just seen him like against the Bears, for instance. He has time to throw. He throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Michael,
he can't be running for his life. And it's like the coaching has nothing to do with the offensive line not being able to block. That has nothing to do with coaching.
Right.
Not to say that there couldn't be some improvements, as like the offensive coordinator, this and that. But it's like, I don't know. I just think he's getting mad at the wrong thing here.
Michael?
I don't think it's
really. He was pretty jacked up watching we were watching the game here yesterday. So he says Zach played a great game against Buffalo last time. Don't you recall that, Brian?
He threw for 120 yards.
And he says Jets are a joke. Coaching sucks. I've said this the whole season. I don't care about defensive coaches. They suck, asshole.
Yeah, like I said, I see talent.
I mean, the defense could not contain Allen, so it's like.
But really though, because I mean, he threw for 147 yards.
Yeah, but he ran in for a touchdown. He
ran in for one touchdown as Michael enters the building.
Yeah, but did you see that touchdown? I mean, he had like 4 guys on top of him. It's like, why don't you just get low and tackle him at the legs? Like they were not doing a good job containing him.
I think you could say that to 99% of the league. I mean, this dude is an animal.
Yeah, I understand that.
I understand. To bring down.
All right, and I'm saying
it's not you tackling Derrick Henry.
No, it's not. Obviously, it is, dude. Oh, sorry, Michael.
Real quick,
yes.
You say it's not the coaching, Barnes, but I, as a Jet fan, and I hope you could share this frustration, I don't care about 2-year culture changes. Salaz, he's not going to be here. You know that. He's not going to be here for the long haul.
I don't know about
None of these guys are going to be here. Zach's not going to be here. It's going to be a whole nother haul, a whole nother reset for the Jets. The Jets are just going to keep resetting, and it's so sad, honestly.
See, I honestly, I don't see that at all because I just think that they have been struggling like the worst record in the league for a while now. And here you have a team that's going to finish at the very least around 500. And I just think there's talent and players on the team where there wasn't that before. And I could clearly see that if they could block better, I mean, Zonovan Knight, I'm really, really excited about. I love what Garrett Wilson is doing. And even like Denzel Mims and Elijah Moore have kind of come back from the dead. So I look at all that and I just see if you could block and we're missing our best offensive lineman in Vera Tucker. I don't like, you want to say maybe a different offensive coordinator, but I almost think it's like for the sake of continuity too. I'm not at all in favor of really making any too harsh changes. And I think this is like a big step forward. And the fact too, that you look at this game, even last year, is this 41-7? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't really take away too much negative. Obviously,
wow.
You had some games where you could have won, but it's still at the very least all right in front of you because you got the Lions this week, and it's like, listen, the Lions aren't going to be easy, but I just think that's a game, you should be able to win. And then you have Jacksonville, another game, so if you are able to take care of business there, you're 9-6, going into the last 2 games. So I just think it's still all out in front of you, and they have given us way more to cheer for this year than they have probably the past 7 years combined.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, I don't know. You just suffered 2 really tough losses that, I mean, the past 2 weeks, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like the Jets should have won.
Season's done.
Yeah. Like you're kind of put yourself
over all the injuries, everything that's going on. It's just just a fucking,
you put yourself in a position now where you're in a tough spot and you're going to have to win the next couple games. And you are suffering injuries, and these like if you won these past 2 games, I think it'd be an entirely different narrative, be a different feeling in the locker room. And I think that it does fall. And I know you don't think that coaching has been that bad. I think from what you've been saying, but I mean, I don't know. It's just the past 2 weeks. I think it's just poor play calling. They can't score in the red zone. I don't like what is that? They're not able to score.
So they at least change the offensive coordinator at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think this looks completely different with a competent offensive line.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree
with that.
But they don't really evidently have that right now.
Well, yeah, because one guy has the blood clots. Barrett Tucker's out for the year. I mean, he's really good. He's all pro level.
Well, you got to adjust.
And then potentially, I mean, we'll see if he lays off Mickey D's. But Mekhi Becton could be back next year too. I mean, it's a completely different offensive line with those 3 guys.
Right. No, I understand that, but I mean, like there was a whole. I think Romo did a whole segment during the game about how quick Mike White's getting the ball out. Like less than 2 seconds, the ball's out of his hands. So I mean,
yeah.
You're saying like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if someone's running through the line there. If Mike White is getting the ball out, he's getting. I think
though there's just value to, even if you're not at the present moment in certain situations, getting the results that you want. There's something to be said about continuity, growing together, and not just making a bunch of changes where no one's ever getting comfortable in the system. I want to see Mike White in this system, a full training camp, a full off season, and not just doing charades and musical chairs with the coaches around him. I think he needs to be around the same guys.
No, yeah, I agree with that, but I mean, I'm not saying it's Mike White's fault that they're not winning.
Yeah, I give credit to Mike White.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, the grit he had yesterday.
We were saying how sad it is that he had to keep fucking coming in because he's not going to get a job,
dude. Yeah,
he's probably not even going to end up on a team next year.
He's the Giants. He's
No,
fighting
I'm
for his
telling
life,
you, bro. He's
No.
not going to be a Jet next year, and that's what's going to tear your heart. You're going to be like, and it's going to be like, we're going to be stuck with Zach again. And
I don't really think so. I think Zach is done. I think that's why but you don't make a guy a third string and basically embarrass him that he's not.
Well, maybe
even
he needs the embarrassment. Maybe he's never had, because he seems like a little rich kid the way he's acting. Maybe this is Salah trying to be a father.
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, call me crazy, but I just think that they're gonna win 3 out of the next 4. They're gonna make the playoffs, and
if they do that,
Zach
I'll say sorry for everything.
Be traded in the offseason, and they're just gonna move forward with Mike White and add pieces around him, and I'm good with that. I just feel so much more hope than I have in a very long time. I mean, there's just playmakers all over the field, and they're competing every week, and that's something that we couldn't say for a very long time.
For the last 10 years.
Yeah. So
one quick comment. I know you kind of already semi-answered it, but Buffer wants to know, because the Jets QB situation remains a hot mess, he says, you think Zach Wilson is going to be fixed at all, ever? Like, he never plays with the Jets?
I don't think he plays with the Jets again.
Any other team in the league?
No. Well, no. No. He doesn't play with the Jets. I think he goes somewhere else, and he needs to learn from a veteran. And I said this the day that he was benched, and I feel the same way.
He also says that he agrees with Mike.
Yeah, but
Jets won't win 3 out of the next 4 games.
Prefer's never going to agree with me. So
that's not true.
Wait, name one time. Go. Don't look it up.
Oh my
Don't look it
God,
up, Tony.
that's such a ridiculous.
Exactly. Well, you can't name one time, and you have to look it up. So
no. He definitely agreed with you at some point. Something.
But I am going to personally guarantee, and you could put your timestamp down a little after 17 minutes here on Monday's show, that the Jets will defeat the Detroit Lions next week to go into 8-6, to go into their game with the Jacksonville Jaguars on the 22nd at 8:15, which is, I believe, a Thursday night football game. And they will win that game to go to 9-6. And the negativity that surrounds the last 2 losses will just not be there. And there's going to be a lot of hope. So just mark it down. Obviously, no one likes losing. I just feel like the thing that makes it so much easier for me is I've seen so much negativity over the years that I'm just not going to continue with that rhetoric when I know there's a lot of positive pieces moving forward. I love this defense. I like Zonovan Knight. I love the receivers. And I think Mike White has what it takes. He just needs some more help around him. It's going to be great getting Breece Hall back next year. I love Zonovan Knight, and I would move on from Michael Carter. I know, he had some hype and had a decent rookie season last year. But I don't know, the fumble yesterday.
Carter kind of blew it a little bit there. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think with Knight and Hall, there's just no need for
that
Carter.
That was such a good drive too.
Like
they would have scored.
It was a backbreaker.
Yeah,
it was a
really
backbreaker. But hey, you know what? You move on, and like I said, Detroit is waiting. So let's just get up for Detroit, and let's not sell us down the river just yet, as Mr. Rivers himself checks in. Knight is sick, an undrafted gem from North Carolina State. So we love that for sure. And like I said, tough loss, but it's on to the next game. So just kind of going down the list here, Joe Burrow finally gets over the Schneid against the Cleveland Browns, 23-10. So the first time for him defeating the Browns in his career. He found Chase up and down the field, very much a comfort level, having him back. 10 catches, 119 in the score. Mixon was just shy of 100 yards at 96 yards on 14 carries. Deshaun Watson looked a little more comfortable here. 26-42, 276 in the score. So at 9-4, In pretty good position in the AFC North, and obviously the Browns most likely are out of it now. Do you feel like the Bengals are kind of smooth sailing from here on out to win the AFC North and then potentially make some noise in the playoffs? I mean, we just saw them beat Kansas City last week.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, Joe's getting more comfortable in the pocket, having some more time. And then, of course, having Jamar Chase healthy and in there, I mean, they could be very dangerous, dude, for sure.
So it'll be interesting to see where Burrow can take them. Can he get back to a Super Bowl, for 2 years in a row?
I think
here?
so.
The Cowboys squeak it out 27-23, the goal line stand, all of that. Elliott and Pollard find their way into the end zone. They run for 127 yards as a team collectively. But Dak with the interceptions, 15 incompletions, 2 picks, was only sacked once. Obviously, 17-point favorites going into this game, so they really expected to have more of a stranglehold, on the Texans. But a win is a win. 10-3 is good. But in your eyes, we know what they do, defensively, but offensively, specifically passing the ball with Dak, 9 interceptions in 8 games. Any concerns for you there?
Yeah, a little bit, honestly. I mean, you look at his numbers this season. He has just a little bit over 1,800 yards, 14 touchdowns, the 9 interceptions. He's kind of just like middle of the pack, lower-ish middle in these categories. And I mean, for a Cowboys team that's obviously doing really well. They're 10-3, but expecting to make a splash in the playoffs, get past that first round here. I don't know if Dak has a game here where he throws interceptions. Those could, against a team that's not the Texans, those could be, game losing interceptions here. I understand, he's 9 on the season in 8 games. I mean, obviously that is pretty bad, but I think they came out in spurts, I think, this season throughout the game. He obviously he's had games where he hasn't had any interceptions, but then games like this where he has 2, he's got to kind of show up and be a little more consistently, making better decisions, throwing the ball down the field here.
He's almost like an advanced version of Jimmy Garoppolo. Because you think about what Jimmy does and having that strong run game, and then the defense is having to honor the play action pass. I just feel like when Dak has to really air it out, he's chasing a deficit. That's when he runs into trouble.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ran the ball as effectively in the first half as they did in the second. But that's, I think, the key for the Cowboys: establish that run early. And I think that'll take them to where they need to go. It was interesting. You see Zeke get stuffed like 4 times in a row on the goal line.
No.
Yeah, and then he ended up scoring later in the game.
Up the middle, or?
Yeah.
Wow.
A little to the side and stuff. But I just feel like he just, especially comparing him to Pollard, and I know, I guess they say Pollard, once he gets so many touches, he kind of wears down, but he just looks so slow. And to make what he's making, 16 million, 17 million, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really ridiculous.
It is kind of ridiculous. And I mean, he's someone who should be, he's 27 years old. I feel like these should be some of the better years of his career here.
You think he didn't put in the work?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Lazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to ask, how he would be in this position if he had put in the work. What do you make about Detroit? 34-23 over the Vikings. So they have now won 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
After a 1-6 start. Jared Goff, 333 touchdowns. Are the Detroit Lions potentially going to sneak in the playoffs here?
I mean, it seems like they are in the hunt. Wild card?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wild card.
They're in the wild card.
Kind of not really much room for error.
Right.
Moving forward.
I don't know what the rest of their
Jets
schedule.
this week. That's
right. Jets. And
that's
then,
almost an elimination game.
I know. Jets, and then Panthers, then Bears, and Packers.
All manageable. They already beat the Packers.
Yeah. Panthers, I mean, although Sam Darnold is showing some life there, they're still very beatable. Bears, certainly very beatable. Even the Jets, honestly. I think it's again, you're looking at this team, they're 6-7, winning 5 out of their last 6 games here. Obviously didn't start off to like a great start of the season, really kind of rallying, I think, around Jared Goff. I think is a huge part where you're kind of seeing him almost remaking himself as the quarterback of the Detroit Lions here. And his line yesterday was unbelievable, dude. 330 yards, 27-39 here with 3 passing touchdowns. I mean, Yeah, and it's kind of funny to see how he's really, having a lot of success with Detroit, as Stafford in LA is, kind of on the down. But yeah, I could totally see, Detroit coming into the playoffs, being that underdog story, just being happy to be there, fighting for their life for any spot, not having a lot of expectations, against them. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
Well, and just so much firepower on the offensive side of things. And I just feel like, yeah, and I get it. I think Jamal Williams has 14 touchdowns. So they've been kind of tentative in giving DeAndre Swift. And I know at times this year he's missed, time with injury, but, as many carries. Williams had 16 yesterday. Swift only had 6. But I think those are two talented backs. And then the fact, too, that they get back first round pick Jameson Williams catching his first NFL touchdown pass yesterday, 41 yards out. So you think about him, Josh Reynolds, Amon St. Brown, DJ Chark, and then, obviously Swift out of the backfield. There's a lot of weapons on this team. So I think offensively they can match up with anybody.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Goff was definitely seen as a bridge quarterback when he came over. But, I mean, why wouldn't you want to leave him in place? Now it seems like they have – a good system. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Obviously, a win next week to get them at 7-7. They would really be in the driver's seat with a manageable schedule down the stretch.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Kind of interesting too. Think about this. Remember, I said the teams that are 10-2 underdogs, 0-8. Here they are, 0-9. The Vikings. It's like, what do you make of them? They're 10-3. Cousins, 425, 2 scores. Jefferson, 223 yards through the air. But this Detroit defense bottled up the run. And obviously their defense, the Vikings, couldn't stop the Lions at all here. Are they one of the most questionable / weakest 10-3 teams you've ever seen?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, in the league right now, definitely more so than the Cowboys for sure. Like you mentioned, I mean, their defense not able to stop Detroit. I mean, that's no bueno, and you have Kirk Cousins. I mean, he's playing a game of his life over here, throwing over 140, over 400 yards. That's crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. Do you really think that Minnesota, like, fraudulent? Like, they're gonna first round of playoffs, they're out?
Yeah. Kirk in the playoff game. What is he, 1-1?
I know, it's tough, dude.
It is
tough.
And you know what else is tough? The Tennessee Titans, third straight loss, losing 36-22 to the Jags. Trevor Lawrence, originally on Friday, we thought he wouldn't play. He does gut it out. 368 through the air, 3 touchdowns. Evan Ingram, the former New York Giant, he's moved to receiver after playing tight end with the Giants. 11 receptions, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And they did this without running the ball effectively. 25 carries, 60 yards. They sacked Tannehill 4 times, get the interception. They do let up 121 yards rushing to Derrick Henry, who seems to own Jacksonville. But at 7-6, they were once 7-3. The Tennessee Titans, I mean, they have to be on pretty tentative ground here going into the playoffs. I mean, I think just because of the weakness of the division, they should still win the division. But, you were thinking, they might be a tough out come playoff time. But now, I mean, it's like, what do you make of Tennessee?
Well, I mean, they got to do 2 things better. One is definitely, play defense here. I mean, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence throwing for 368 yards. They did a good job of limiting their run, but I mean, they got to defend the long ball better, and they have to also protect their quarterback better. I mean, that 1 interception was Tannehill was certainly under pressure there. You're sacked four times other than getting that pressure. And you just have to give Tannehill some time, unfortunately. I mean, I feel like in the past, Tannehill does kind of panic when he's under pressure and makes bad decisions. He does do he does way better when, he has time and he can kind of breathe in the pocket a little bit. So I think Tennessee's offensive line really has to step up.
And speaking of stepping up, the New York Giants, I think it's 0-3-1 their last 4. 48-22, the Eagles over the Giants to move to 12-1 for Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, 77 yards on the ground in a score, threw for 273 and 2 scores through the air. Miles Sanders, a career high 144 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, including a 40-yard run. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith caught touchdowns for Philadelphia. Daniel Jones was sacked 4 times. Tyrod Taylor came in late and was also sacked 3 times. Saquon Barkley has seemed to stroke out the past month after having a really hot start to the season.
Right.
At 7-5-1 with a matchup with Washington looming. Are the New York Giants finding themselves on the outside looking into the playoff picture?
It kind of looks like it, Brian. I mean, I think also they were talking about Barkley having a neck injury.
Right.
So I don't know if he's really 100% there. And I mean, neck injury is something that's definitely going to be pesky, especially, if you're running back. But I mean, midway through the second quarter, it was like 21-0. This game was over pretty early. The Eagles just were able to pretty much do whatever they wanted all game here. And the Giants just kind of rolled over. And we mentioned their offensive line. Again, another team with an offensive line who needs to be seemingly improving, honestly, every year because they don't do shit. 7 sacks throughout, over, Jones and Taylor here. I mean, that's like, come on, you got to do a better job here. I understand, the Eagles have a good defense. Obviously, they're a good team overall. But I mean, 21-0, like just not even keeping up with them in the slightest bit. Is not going to be a good look for the Giants. And you mentioned, Washington comes up next, another team, almost like Detroit that doesn't exactly have a lot of expectations, but has momentum on their side. And certainly a fan base, really rallying around them as well. So you could really find the Giants here in quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. And, be big for Seattle, and we'll get to them in a sec after losing. If Seattle wins next week, Giants lose, Seattle would get that 7th seed in the NFC. Back in the AFC North, one of the toughest rivalries we've seen over the years. And me and you have talked about this before, but the fact that the Ravens, the Steelers, the injuries, poor performance, whatever it is, somehow the game is always 2 points, 3 points, 1 point. Once again, we see that yesterday, 16-14, the Ravens gutted out Tyler Huntley at quarterback. They even went to third-string quarterback Anthony Brown for a couple of possessions. J.K. Dobbins, fresh off IR, 120 yards in a score. Yeah. Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett, injured. Enter Mitchell Trubisky, promptly throws 3 interceptions. Najee Harris, only 2.8 yards per carry on the ground. Pittsburgh really having a tough year, 5-8. Baltimore goes to 9-4. They think Lamar should still miss the next 2 games.
Wow.
So it's kind of interesting. Them and Cincinnati are tied with the same record here. And the Ravens did win the first matchup, so that week 18 game will have a lot of implications.
Right.
But once again, and I know obviously Lamar's out, but I don't know. At 9-4, I just don't think this Ravens team is that good. And I think it's just because of their offense. I think their defense is pretty good, but they just can't score. I mean, I know you're down to back of quarterback. Even when Lamar's in there, they almost score less.
I know. What ankle injury, right? Ankle?
Lamar? No, I think a knee, a PCL.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think it's kind of tough. I would say the one thing the Ravens have in their favor is probably the next 3 games in their schedule. They have the Browns in the nice Saturday games here. Then they play the Falcons at home, and they play the Steelers again at home. So I mean, theoretically, they could win 2 out of the next 3 games pretty easily.
But I just think, oh my God, like playoffs.
Oh yeah,
they might get shut out
again. I mean, we talked about the Ravens just totally blowing it. Blowing a 4th quarter lead like several times this season. I don't think they'll make many waves in the playoffs, even with a healthy Lamar.
So what I would say is it's just going to be interesting to see if once Lamar comes back, if they could just get the passing game going, because they just don't have a passing game.
Yeah.
And obviously in the playoffs, how are you going to win games without a passing game? And speaking of passing games, the Chiefs 34-28 over the Broncos. And this was a crazy game where Kansas City was up 27-0 midway through the second quarter. They allow 2 touchdowns to Denver before the half to make it 27-14, and they let up another touchdown to make it 27-21. Russell Wilson actually had his best game of the year. 3 touchdowns through the air, 247 yards, did throw the 1 pick, sacked 6 times, but had 57 yards on the ground, including a 19-yard run where at the end he goes down, concussion, leaves the game. So we'll see what his status is. But at the end of the day, Broncos fall to 3-10 here. Backup quarterback Brett Rippon came in to throw a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy, who was very animated on the sidelines, ended up catching 3 touchdowns here. So they finally get going, and then Russell gets hurt, and obviously at 3-10, season over. But kind of an interesting game here, for the Chiefs. I mean, a win's a win, but it's just a little inconsistency there. Mahomes had 3 interceptions.
Yeah,
but I still think at the end of the day, I'll take them over any team in the AFC.
Yeah, me too. I think maybe it was just like they were up a lot. They knew it was Denver, maybe kind of letting up a little bit, not taking the game as seriously sort of deal. Because you don't see Mahomes throw 3 interceptions, let alone, 1 or 2 a lot. So, I think just a couple maybe mental mistakes there with maybe overlooking the Broncos. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
And it's just amazing. Each week on offense for the Chiefs, it's a different player starring. You had Jerick McKinnon in this one. The running back had 7 receptions for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 56-yarder. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, who has really developed some rapport with Mahomes, 9 receptions, 74 yards and a score. Isaiah Pacheco has really taken over that lead back role. 13 carries, 70 yards, and impressive stuff for the rookie running back out of Rutgers. Taken late in the draft, not much was expected of him, and he's really seized the job from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I think at the end of the day, I think the Chiefs are going to be just fine down the stretch as they look to secure that number 1 seed in the AFC and make the playoffs run through Arrowhead.
Oh, yeah.
Next game against the Texans, and then home to Seattle, home to Denver, and then finishing at the Raiders. So that'll be what we will get from the Kansas City Chiefs down the stretch. And moving along here, Tommy running into a little bit of trouble.
Boy.
No heroics here. This game was once 35-0. Brady hangs in there to throw a touchdown and make it 35-7. But Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, leads the Niners here to their 6th straight win, 16-21, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't throw an interception or wasn't sacked. Had a rushing touchdown as well. Christian McCaffrey, 119 yards on the ground and a score. Also had a receiving touchdown, 2 for 34. When you look at this game, it is more to say that definitively the Bucs, if they manage to win their division, will be one and done. The Panthers, technically, after their win, that we'll get to in a sec, are only 1 game behind. Or the fact, too, that San Francisco, Brock Purdy or not, are going to be a very tough out and still could be primed to reach the Super Bowl, despite going with Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're right on the 49ers. I think that regardless of who the quarterback is, they are going to be a tough out. They have, considerable amount of weapons on the offense, not to mention, evidently a great defense here, holding the Bucs to only 7 points. But I don't know. Part of me says that if the Buccaneers make it into the playoffs, somehow Tom Brady's going to find a way to.
You really think, Michael?
Yeah, dude. What? The divorce?
No, the divorce. He's saying there's a script, but
it's rigged.
Okay. I can't see. I just think he just won't have time to throw, and it's like,
no, he's gonna find a way.
I mean, why couldn't he find a way yesterday?
Because it's not the playoffs.
Oh my God, because it's not the playoffs. No, the Niners, especially if they have to play the Niners, he's gonna get absolutely drilled. And it'll be interesting to see. There's been some murmurs. Is he going to be in San Francisco next year? I don't think he's going to retire. All along it was, I want to play to 45. I want to play to 45. But I just think in a year where you might even miss the playoffs, let alone get shellacked in a playoff game, I don't see him wanting to end this way. So he could be looking at the 3rd team of his career, going on to age 46. But we will see. How about the Carolina Panthers? 30-24 over the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks really coming in, to tough times here.
Slipping.
Is that 3 in a row now?
That is 3 in a row, dude.
Or 2 out of 3 because they did beat the Rams late. I forgot. They did
lost
beat the
Raiders.
Lost to the Raiders, but beat the Rams.
Beat the Rams.
Yeah, and then
Whatever,
losing this
dude.
game.
They're
But
slipping over.
slipping a little bit. Sam
Watch.
Darnold, I mean, another
Oh.
win as starter.
Let's
Obviously,
go, baby.
leaning heavy on the run game. 223 yards on the ground, 2 scores combined from Hubbard and Deonta Foreman, and
Chuba Hubbard?
Raheem Blackshear also had a rushing touchdown. But Darnold, doesn't turn it over. Was sacked once, had the touchdown pass
He was sacked
to
twice.
Shi Smith. And the thing is here, I still think Seattle is a good team. Geno just made mistakes that he hasn't really made all season. But he does have Metcalf. He does have Lockett. So I think that they could still, make the playoffs here. I'm just kind of curious, Tony, what you think here. Carolina, 1 game back of the Buccaneers. Do they have a shot potentially to win a division? Are they a different team with interim coach Steve Wilkes and quarterback Sam Darnold?
Honestly, I really don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Sam. Yeah, I know. No interceptions. That's good. 1 throwing touchdown. 120 yards, dude. I mean,
inspired ball, though. Steve Wilkes, the owner, said when he took over, he's going to need a Christmas miracle to be considered for the head coaching position.
I think they need a Christmas miracle to make it to the playoffs. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't. And even if they do, I mean, they're not going to the first round and out, like, for sure. Like, there's no way.
But just think about this. So they already beat the Buccaneers once.
Right. Won't happen
They play
again.
them week 17, and they have Pittsburgh and Detroit the next 2 games, and then a finale with the Saints. So all I'm saying is, Tony, I mean, crazier things have happened.
Crazy,
I look at that Pittsburgh game, especially if Trubisky has to go. I mean, I like them over Pittsburgh in that one if Trubisky's starting.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
I don't know. I kind of doubt they're gonna beat the Bucks.
But the Bucks have the Bengals. I think the
know.
Bucks are going to lose to the Bengals next week, and
Yeah,
then
probably.
that would put the Panthers in first place.
Right,
going-
but then they lose to the Panthers, lose to the Bucks, they lose to the Lions.
I'm just saying, Tommy might be in a little trouble, Tony.
I think you just want him to be.
Well, listen, I know I was a little shy with the 4 wins. However, I did say trouble was around the corner,
Right.
from day one, and I think it's obvious that that's the case.
Really? It seems like he's been having a happy divorce.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Hey.
Babe.
yeah, no, that's what people are saying.
Yeah. Giselle thrown to the curb. Done.
So it was kind of an interesting game last night, Sunday Night Football, obviously last game of the day. Chargers do hang on 23-17 over the Dolphins.
Dolphins blew it, dude.
Justin Herbert, 39-51. Talk about some accuracy on 50 attempts there. 367, 1 passing touchdown to Mike Williams, who returned from injury for 6 catches, 116 yards. He also found Keenan Allen, 12 receptions, 92 yards. Austin Eckler had a rushing touchdown, as well as 8 receptions out of the backfield. The Dolphins offense just struggled, all game. They were down 17-7 at half. Really just couldn't come back to it. Only 10-28, 145 yards and a score. Tyreek Hill had a receiving touchdown as well as a fumble recovery touchdown, 4 receptions, 81 yards. So the Chargers actually take the Jets spot as the 7th seed in the AFC. The Dolphins obviously scuffling a little after getting blown out by the Niners last week. And then they do face the Bills on Saturday in Buffalo. So trouble ahead for the Dolphins. They go Bills, Packers, Patriots, Jets to finish out.
Bills, Packers, Patriots, Jets. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a tough tail end of the schedule here. And with the way Miami, I mean, you think of them with, having the fastest man in the league here in Hill. And I understand he had that crazy touchdown off that crazy fumble. But, I mean, they just didn't score enough, dude. What is that?
Chargers, are the Chargers better than we think?
I guess.
I mean, we obviously know what quarterback Herbert is.
Right,
They do have
obviously.
playmakers on defense.
Yeah, they do. But, I mean, you would still think that Miami, like Tua, would be able to kind of navigate around that. No?
You
didn't expect more out of Miami's offense?
I did, but I guess this Chargers defense is good.
Really?
But it's tough because, I mean, obviously, with this loss, we remain 1 game behind Miami, but then the Chargers, move ahead of us, and they have the Titans next week, which is a really important game for both teams before going to Indianapolis, hosting the Rams, and at the Broncos. So they look like they're in smooth sailing to finally make the playoffs with Herbert.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, but I do think that nobody necessarily, quote unquote, wants to see them come playoff time.
The Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're more dangerous than the Dolphins. I don't know what you think.
Really?
Just because of Herbert.
I mean, if Herbert is still this accurate, I mean, yeah.
Tua, I mean, the last 2 games have been alarming to me.
I know.
And we know he's always one big hit away from an injury as well. So that doesn't help. I mean, obviously they have playmakers all over the field, but you got to be able to protect your quarterback and you got to be able to score against tough defenses. And they haven't shown they could do that the last 2 weeks.
Do you think he's hesitating because he's worried about getting injured?
I mean, it's possible, right?
Yeah. Anything.
So that should be interesting to see for both teams moving forward.
Yeah.
Last game of week 14, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who are 1-6 at home, 4-8 overall, hosting the Patriots, who are road 1.5-point favorites here. So 2 teams that have had their struggles throughout this season. Obviously, the Cardinals more so than the Patriots. The Cardinals have lost 4 out of 5. Their only victory against the Rams. The Patriots have lost their last 2 games to the Vikings and the Bills. A win would get them to 7-6 and in better position for that wild card spot. Obviously, at 4-8, Cardinals season over. It's so hard to say, what I feel about this game. The only thing that I could say is just a rule of thumb, and obviously it doesn't always work like this because you would think, Bill Belichick would say, like, for instance, 2 weeks ago against the Vikings, Cousins, not a great quarterback.
Right.
Kevin O'Connell, first-year head coach, he'd be able to kind of out-coach them. So that's why I was kind of thinking Kyler Murray doesn't appear to be the smartest decision maker. We've been calling for Cliff Kingsbury's job all year. So with those 2 things, you would think that the Patriots would be in the driver's seat. I guess the only thing that I just question is them containing Kyler Murray on the run as well as Hopkins down the field. I think that's the only shot that the Cardinals have here.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's going to be more of a Hopkins down the field issue. I think they'd do a solid job with containing Murray.
Run the ball with Stevenson.
Yeah. I'm just more worried about New England being able to score enough, honestly. But I don't know. My gut tells me to go with New England. I think Murray's going to, if they put him under pressure, if they contain him a little bit on the run, force him to make decisions, he's going to make wrong decisions, and I think the Patriots could capitalize on that.
What type of score? Total is set at 43.
Really? I would go for the under, honestly, 43. I would say, actually, I don't know if this is under now. No, yeah, 24-14. How is that? Is that under? Yeah, it's under.
Yeah,
38.
That's 38.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go heads up against you. I think this could go either way.
Yeah,
but I'll take the Cardinals plus 1.5. Take the Pats minus 1.5, but I would say under as well. I'm going to say 17-10 Cardinals over the Patriots. Just not a lot of offense. Battle of the trenches, Tony.
Oh my God.
I think Michael liked that one more than you.
Really? Did he? He's smiling?
There was a slight grin coming out of the corner of the room.
Mike loves getting down in the trenches.
But so this will wrap up week 14, and then next week we got 3 games on Saturday. We got a Thursday night football game. Obviously the Jets season pretty much on the line against the Lions. So much to look forward to and digest, but really has just been one of the more unpredictable seasons, I guess you could say, that we've seen in quite some time. And it just seems like there's so much on the line. And even though we do have some teams like the Chiefs, like the Bills, like the Eagles that have, some of the better win-loss records in the league, it's just so tough to definitively say anything in my eyes in terms of someone being head and shoulders above the rest of the league. I mean, if you had to give me a team at the end of the day, who do you think is the best team in the league right now?
Got to go with the Eagles, dude. You really have to. Jalen Hurts is just so, good.
I really want to see Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl.
That'd be dope. I'd watch that.
The Reed revenge game.
Wow. You know how many cheeseburgers he would eat if he won?
So I'm just trying to think about this. So the game's in Arizona. So Dome Stadium.
Well, you want to go?
What? No, but I'm saying, what would you say the look ahead line would be there? Eagles, Chiefs, Arizona.
Wow. Chiefs 3.5.
I think it's gonna be like 1.5.
Really?
It's gonna be like the Chiefs Niners Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember, but that was like, pick them by
Right.
2, by 1, back and forth.
Jesus.
But that would be a really, really interesting game for sure. So
That'd be dope.
But week 15 will start Thursday. Niners at Seahawks. So Gino, we could be seeing the season slipping away. That's a tough matchup, but rivalry game, like the Steelers, like the Ravens, anything can happen.
Exactly.
But let's go now to the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. The back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray. There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy Young. Nada, where did that land? Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires. Out at first.
There it goes. See ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right, Tony. Senga.
Let's go, baby.
Give it to me straight. 5 years, $75 million. Signing with the New York Mets over the weekend. The top Japanese free agent pitcher on the market. ERA under 2 last year in Japan. Instant reaction straight from the horse's mouth.
Honestly, I love the decision. We were talking about him for a while, how, Buck met with him. Buck enjoys Senga. Senga wants to go to a team, who's in it to win it right now, which obviously, what? That's funny. Why wouldn't you go with the Mets? Obviously, Cohen flashing the wallet this offseason, really spending a lot of money to get the necessary, pieces he thinks that the Mets need. Obviously, Kodai Senga being one of them. And just looking up some tape, they have that split finger fork ball he's got, which is probably his most, notable pitch to kind of, I guess, make some waves in the MLB here. I watched some tape on him making Shohei Ohtani look kind of foolish. Obviously, it's probably your best translation to what it's going to be like him pitching against major league batters, obviously. And he looks really good, dude. I mean, he's 29 years old, I think.
Yep.
So obviously he's been around for a while, definitely has developed himself in the Japanese league. I think he's won the Japanese championship like 2 or 3 times or something. So yeah, I absolutely, I love this pickup here. I think it's gonna really bolster our rotation. Right now our rotation is looking pretty good. And if Quintana kind of works out better than we expect, better than I expect, I think we could have one of the best rotations in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where you look at the money, especially in this market, 5 years, $75 million. If you could get a guy that could conceivably be a 3-starter and have an ERA in the 3s, have strikeout stuff, I think that's a home run. It's just anytime you have a pitcher come over from Japan, you don't know for certain until you get there, but that's just the reality of the situation. So they got to hope that he, steps up in a big way. But I honestly think out of all their signings this offseason, I think by far that's the best one. And I know a lot of people have made, note of, Cohen blowing past 300 million. What an offseason, this and that. But I think some of the other money that was allocated was definitely questionable. You think about all the money that they gave to Nimmo. Not to mention Verlander's age. So there's just a lot of uncertainty still. But I think from what their options were, and in lieu of potentially giving Chris Bassett more money or the same money, I would definitely go with Senga. So, I think they have to be happy there. Also, some news came out first thing this morning, actually. Former A's pitcher Sean Manaea, 2 years, $25 million. Opt out after the 2023 season, 4.96 ERA with the Padres last year. And it's interesting because we know obviously the Giants have Rodon sitting there as a free agent. And of course, he's been heavily linked to the Yankees. So, You would almost think that this kind of points to the fact that they're not anticipating getting him back. Obviously, they could sign both of them, but it does kind of seem like a backup plan for Rodon here.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, like you said, I think they could kind of still get both of them. I would really be interested to see what the Yankees offer Rodon first, and then see kind of how the Giants respond.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's kind of interesting. I mean, what you hear basically is that for sure 7 years, around $200 million will get this done.
You think like Yankees offer him that snap call he's going?
Yeah. But I think they've been offering him 6 years, $180 million.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, I don't know where the market is. Just trying to see. Is clear that isn't scaring off teams. Yeah, so there's multiple teams, and he just wants that 7 years. But in your eyes, if it is 7 years and let's say it's 210, making an even 30 a year, is that the right move for the Yankees?
7 years, 210. I mean, yeah,
price of doing business.
They
right?
kind of need it, right?
I just feel like the element, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Obviously, there's some risk involved, but if you just get 4 years of pitching where ERA is going to be 3.5 with strikeout stuff, but you sign up for it any day of the week.
Oh yeah,
and you can't put a price on postseason wins and what depth that gives a rotation to slide Nestor to your 3-starter, to have Sevy as your 4-starter, and potentially, if he's got his head out of his derriere, you could have Montas as your 5th starter. That's a pretty good rotation.
Yeah, no, I would say so, dude.
So it'll be interesting to see, but really, that's the big domino. That we're waiting to fall. I guess it's just between him, Swanson, and Correa. And then other than that, I mean, we're looking at spare parts. I mean, I don't really think there's anybody that's going to get that big of a deal.
No, I don't think so. But for as a comment, he says, please grade the Mets and Yankees offseason moves, free agency signings so far. Brian, what would you give the Yankees?
So I'd give the Yankees an A, and I would give the Mets a B-.
Interesting. Why are the Yankees getting an A?
A
for Aaron Judge.
Yeah, what else would it be?
Oh my God!
And dude. I really do think they're going to sign Rodon. They've been working hard on.
No, but so far though.
Yeah.
Just for signing Judge, they get an A.
That's your franchise.
Re-signing one player.
You have to have a face of the franchise.
No, yeah, that's great. I would probably give the Mets a B+ right now. I think Verlander's huge. Obviously, re-signing Nimmo's huge. Kodai is going to be dope. So far, they have not re-signed Ottavino. They have not re-signed Bassett.
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they're going to re-sign Bassett. Yeah. It seems I forget what team is interested in it. It might have been the Giants, honestly.
No, they actually just said they're not interested in
the Giants are not.
Yeah.
But I think Quintana could be kind of a toss-up, so B+ for them. But Fur also says Mets aren't done yet, though. 3 more predictions. Mets will get Rodon. Mets will trade for Alcantara, and Ottavino will return.
Yeah.
I could see like Ottavino returning for sure.
Trade for Alcantara.
Alcantara seems kind of unlikely.
Kind of unlikely.
And so does Rodon, honestly. You know what I did hear, though? Mets trade for Devers.
Wow.
Which would be sick, dude. Third base.
They have to give up the whole farm.
Dude. Probably have to give up Batty.
And Alvarez.
Probably not Alvarez. You can probably get away with Batty and Mauricio.
Tony. I'm just saying, Billy Epler, GM of the year, if he pulls that one off.
If he gets rid of Alvarez, though, that's stupid.
I don't know, man. Devers is a known commodity.
Yeah, I understand that, but Alvarez is going to be like your future starting catcher.
But you know who he reminds me of?
Who does he remind you? Alvarez?
Jesus Montero.
Why?
Same build, same position.
That's it? Every catcher's built like that.
Not everyone.
Basically every catcher.
You remember Jason Kendall? I don't think he was built like that.
Oh, right, dude. But for Mets 2023 starting rotation, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Kodai Senga, Rodon, and Alcantara.
Just come on,
dude. That'd be pretty crazy if that happens.
That would be crazy, but dude. It's not gonna happen. You know what else is crazy? And I just don't buy it because I think they're so scarred from A-Rod. But did you see they think the Yankees are working on a trade for Tatis? taking on that contract,
right? And the
steroids.
steroids.
I feel like there's no way.
The motorcycle accident.
Twitter, you can't believe everything you see on Twitter, but like people were very skeptical of that actually being true, but that was floated out there. I say no way.
Yeah, I say no way.
14-year deal.
Yeah, no.
Not gonna have $400 million contracts,
dude. Yankees are stupid.
I think Rodon, is the guy, and then just an answer in left field. I don't want to give Benintendi $100 million.
You could put Tatis Jr. in the left field.
You could, but the steroids just kills it. If there was no steroid link, I would be all for Tatis. That'd be amazing.
Right.
But that's why he's considered being traded, because he kind of screwed over the whole team.
Screwed over himself.
But I just can't wait for baseball, Tony.
Yeah, me too, dude. It's almost here.
Going to be exciting. So we'll keep an eye out for any moves moving forward. But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh, my goodness. That's the gun right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliance from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right. It's Michael's favorite day. That's right. Tonight, you have the rivalry of the century. The Devils are in MSG tonight playing the Rangers, but obviously Michael's not going. But before we get to that, we obviously have to recap a nice little weekend of hockey here. Starting off with Friday, we previewed the Rangers in Colorado against the Avalanche. The Avalanche obviously missing their captain, one of their point leader, Nathan McKinnon. So obviously, the Avalanche certainly missed him as they fall 2-1 to the Rangers in a shootout, Michael. And what a game it was. We were watching this in the studio actually on Friday night, and I caught the tail end of it after I showered at home. What? What did I say? No, I was just being funny. Oh. I was trying to be funny, but it's not that funny. Anyway, so just kind of looking at some of the stats here. Before I see your comment, we'll get to it when Brian comes back from the bathroom. He's taking a big dump. So looking at some team stats here. Let's just recap the score actually before I get distracted. First period, pretty light, almost 15 minutes in. You have a score from Rantanen, making it 1-0, and that was the only scoring in the first period, right? So obviously, a lot of kind of, I guess, hesitation by both teams, feeling each other out. Like I mentioned, Colorado missing one of their best players. So they're kind of feeling out the Rangers, feeling out, still trying to adjust without that playmaker on their team here. But Colorado obviously is Colorado. They're one of the best teams in the league. They won the Stanley Cup. They are the returning Stanley Cup champions for a reason here. They had 42 shots on goal here to the Rangers 29. The game was pretty physical as well. There was 47 hits across both teams here, pretty evenly split. Face-off, same deal. Over 51 face-offs. Rangers 125, Colorado 126. Obviously Nathan McKinnon again center. So, missing some of his faceoff wins from there. Both teams 0 for 1 in the power play. Obviously only giving up one penalty for each of the teams. Honestly, a great job at staying disciplined. Again, these are two very fast teams, seemingly very in shape teams as well, because none of them were kind of stutter stepping or falling behind on defensive assignments or forward back checking, forcing penalties, anything like that. Both teams, 28 block shots in this game, split pretty evenly, 16 for the Rangers, 14 to Colorado. Unfortunately, Rangers did have 7 giveaways. Colorado had 11. So, both teams really pestering, both teams really using stick lifts and poke checks to kind of disrupt each other's offense. But second period, again, not much scoring at all. You have Brandon Schneider, a shot here from the point, again, is how that kind of happens. We've been seeing that theme here with the Rangers. But other than that, it was just kind of a stalemate for both of these teams, which I would say, for the Rangers is phenomenal, from the way they've been playing to kind of keep up with Colorado, force them into this stalemate. Overtime was a little hairy for the Rangers, I will say. Colorado getting chances left and right, seemingly just putting so much pressure on the Rangers. It looked like they would have scored at any minute. But you know what? Who comes up big? Igor Shesterkin. And I'm kind of happy that this game went through overtime, went to the shutout and everything, because Igor kind of showed like, hey, man, like I'm fucking back here. Okay. No Brian Barnaby is going to tell me I'm not good enough, because he is good enough. He had 42 shot attempts against him, obviously 41 saves on the night. It's a 976 save percentage. And of course, in the shootout, he was just poised, cool, calm, and collect. We had 2 shootout goals here. One, I think the first one, I forget who missed the first one, but the second one was from Zibanejad. He had just a phenomenal, just quick wrister, just taking the puck with so much speed and just bang right past Georgiev. And then Panarin, of course, came in and he showed the dangles. He almost came down to a stop before he shot that puck. And then, like I said, Shesterkin just keeping it just brick wall throughout the shootout here. Phenomenal win here for the Rangers to beat Colorado. This road trip has kind of really, boded well for the Rangers. I mean, we talked about this road trip that they've had, and how they're facing the toughest teams in the National Hockey League. And you look at their last 5 games, or their last 3 games since the road start, really. They're 3-0. They beat St. Louis. They beat the Knights decisively on the road. They beat Colorado just now in the shootout. They have a lot of momentum going for them as they're coming back home and facing a Devils team who just lost to the Islanders in a very physical, very tough, very embarrassing way. Brian, what did you think? Did you watch the game on Friday?
Oh, watched every second of it. And my whole thing is here, great win. That's the Rangers that we saw last year where, offensively you struggle all game, but you figure out a way. You lean on your tender in Shesterkin and playing the way that we know he could play. And, the last 2 games only allowing 1 goal each, especially with the second one going to a shootout. I think that's impressive. And I really think tonight is really the put it over the top, make it be known that you're back. You have to beat the Devils at home for whatever reason. You look at the Rangers have won their last 3 road games, but have lost 4 of 5 at home.
Right.
You got to win those games at the Garden. This is a rivalry game against New Jersey. You play Toronto on Thursday at home before going to Philadelphia, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. This game is important. And I just think it is so much a step back if they were to come out flat tonight. I would imagine that Shesterkin would be in net versus Vanacek. So this could be a game that goes to a shootout. But I just think, for previous losses this year, there's just no excuse. And you will be feeling pretty good if you could take care of business against the Devils at home.
Yeah, I think so. And, we saw the last time they faced the Devils, I think was in the Garden. I forget where it was. But that was when they scored 2 goals up very early within the first couple of minutes, and then ended up just blowing it. But this is a very different Rangers team now. Different, mentally, certainly looking like they're in better shape now, keeping up with the Avalanche. And of course, Igor, looks like he's in better shape as well. Igor is eager to defeat the Devils. To kind of prove if you take Vanacek, who backup? It's not me. It's not Igor Shesterkin. Yeah, Vanacek is trash. Yeah.
You think it's
can't even say his name, Shesterkin.
It's a low scoring game tonight or no?
No.
Really?
I would. Rangers can't keep up. No, I think probably something like maybe 4-3.
Overtime or no?
No, regulation. Devils gonna be tired. Yeah, they're gonna be so tired. They just got fucking. Did you see that hit from the fucking? I forget Romanov. The Islanders fucking put some devil down on his back, bro. He was like that, dude. Yeah, let me skate across the middle of the ice with my head down, idiot. He is weak.
Before we go picks, Tony, though, just real quick, are you officially back on the Coyotes bandwagon? They beat the Bruins and then take care of the Flyers yesterday.
Yeah,
Malka starring. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, Keller has been doing a phenomenal job. I mean, they are, I think a team that really should not be overlooked, but obviously is. But let's, pump the brakes a little bit.
But I just think that Boston win is pretty impressive. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
But that being said, I'm guessing you want to go with the Rangers for your first pick here.
The underdog. Let's go.
What is the
minus 115 for the
Devils? Okay, so I mean it's almost dead heat pretty much.
Which
shows you the respect that they have for the Rangers, of course. All right, so we'll give you the Rangers there, and you said 4-3.
Yeah, I'll say 4-3. Put me in there.
And this is a 0% lock start game.
Yeah, dude.
I think of all the times for them to pull that, this would be the time you'd be most pissed off.
Well, yeah, obviously, but they're not going to pull it, dude. He's not trash, dude.
So let's see.
You're right, dude.
Anyway, Tony. I'm just looking at this schedule, and it's just so tough to really decipher here.
Well, take the Penguins.
They've been too hot, though. That's what I'm worried about.
The hell does that mean?
I don't know. You know what? Whatever. I'll fall for it. Give me the Oilers over the Wild. I mean, the Wild. Nice one over the Canucks, but come on, the Oilers are not the Canucks. And I know Kaprizov has 17 goals and 17 assists. But Connor McDavid has 25 goals and 29 assists. Him, Draisaitl, I think it's going to be smooth sailing for the Oilers here. I'm going to say on the road, 4-2, Oilers over the Wild.
Okay. I'll take Dallas. On the road here against Pittsburgh, another dog, a tight dog here. Going to be a dog fight. But obviously, yeah, they got dogs, dude. Pittsburgh on a 5-game winning streak.
Is that a bite?
My God.
1-11-11. 1-11-11. It was 1-11-11, Tony.
Go. It's a signed bite.
Bite.
That is fucking great.
So continue on, sir.
Yeah, come on.
Taking a little pause there, Tony.
So Pittsburgh 5-game winning streak, but I mean, when you look at these 5 games here, one of them was against Columbus. Columbus sucks. 2 was against Buffalo, one of which they have to win in overtime here. So, tight games here. St. Louis 6-2, Vegas a tight 4-3 win. So I think, obviously, wins are wins for the Penguins here for sure, kind of really coming into their own finally this season. But I think they're going to hit a brick wall here in Oettinger for Dallas, and of course in Jason Robertson here. Robertson, I think 3rd in points in the league right now behind Draisaitl and McDavid. Crosby shortly behind them with 38 points, but I think Robertson comes in here and says, hey, I'm in the Young Buck, Minnesota. Let's go. Crosby, the kid, no more. Sit down. Robertson with 2 goals and an assist here. And again, Oettinger has been, phenomenal in between the pipes. I believe they were both drafted the same draft class.
Coincidentally enough,
yes. Oettinger, 11-3 and 3 in the season, 2 shutouts, 2.52 save goals against, 9.15 save percentage here. Certainly better, I think, than Tristan Jarry. So give me Dallas in a tight game here. I'll say 3-2.
All I have to say, Tony, dogs are barking.
Let's go.
Calgary's minus 220 on the road at the Canadiens. That's a little rich, all right? They've lost their last 2, including a loss to the Blue Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we know how much they miss Gaudreau.
Mm-hmm.
Markstrom hasn't played the same this year. 891 save percentage. Okay, dude. The Canadiens have fallen out a little bit. Michael can't take it. Have fallen on hard times here a little bit, losing 3 out of 4 with the win against Seattle the other day. The only win with losses to Vancouver, Edmonton, and the Kings. But yeah, I just think there's just too much respect for Calgary here on the road. I think the Canadiens just figure out a way. I'm going to say 4-2. It seems like a lot of their games are 4-2. 4-2 Canadiens with the upset at home.
Nice. We're going 3 apiece here, right?
Yeah. So you like that pick, honestly?
Full suite? Yeah, I do like that pick, honestly.
Flames, I mean, come on.
Flames, too iffy right now.
Shook up the locker room.
Yeah, really.
Kadri's not the same.
Neither is Huberdeau.
Yeah.
I think, right? Yeah.
Huberdeau is like trash this year after being like almost an MVP.
Literally, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So at least with what? Ducks, Senators, and Preds, Blues here. Thank you.
Taking over here.
That's tough, dude. I mean, it's so tough. Dude, the Senators minus 225. against the Ducks. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll take the Ducks.
Well,
why are they minus 225?
I couldn't tell you.
It's not like the Ducks are that bad. It's not like the Ottawas are like the Senators are like that great. You know? Am I missing something?
Probably some type of injury.
Anaheim Ducks news. It's just real quick. You know, take a little peruse. Blowout loss to the Sharks 2 days ago.
Carlson?
Ooh, Carlson addresses trade rumors again.
Rangers?
Let's see. I mean, injury report here.
Would you take him?
Gibson's day-to-day. Derek Grant is out. Yeah, I definitely would.
All right. Just want to make
Depends on for what though. I mean,
what are you talking about?
I'll take give me another dog here tonight. Give me the Anaheim Ducks. I understand blowout loss against San Jose on the 9th, which was Friday.
Terry?
But they beat Carolina before that in overtime. That's a big win. You know, Ottawa, of course, though, you know, they seem like they've been doing pretty well. They did beat the Rangers like a week ago in overtime. Beat San Jose, beat Nashville. But minus 225 is out of this world here. Give me the Ducks. I'll say 4-3 regulation time. Terry.
All right. So going back to the well, and I know you're disappointed that Buchnevich and Krug are banged up with injuries. We'll see if they get on the ice tonight. But I think there's a lack of respect here. And I know Nashville, they're one game over 500, but the Blues at home, dogs here. And I just think while Binnington's got blown up in net after a decent start, I just think offensively they're a little stronger, you know, than Nashville. I mean, you keep Forsberg in check. What do you really have to worry about? I know Niederreiter, another one of your favorites, right?
Yeah,
you've always been a Niederreiter guy.
I have been.
But I'm gonna say 4-0. I just think the Predators, they think this is gonna be easy, and Saros can pitch a shutout. But I'm gonna say 5-0 Blues over the Predators.
The dogs are barking.
Dogs
dude.
are really barking. The water jugs are full, Tony. Water jugs are full. I can't wait for that Giants Washington game. I think it's gonna be 27-0 Washington.
Really?
Don't you think they win that one? Honestly, not
Washington,
just like,
probably. Yeah.
The Giants, it's over.
Yeah, 27-0 is kind of outrageous, but yeah.
But also I'm really pumped for this Rangers game.
Me too.
Step
dude.
up. You know, the Devils, I mean, it's been a historic start for them, but it's time for us to get back to our ways, you know, and have people talking about us.
Yeah.
I know Michael couldn't agree more. I mean, a little competition. It's good for everybody. And you know, I mean, how legendary Eastern Conference Finals, Rangers Devils. Has that ever happened, Tony?
Rangers Devils, Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
In 94 it happened.
Was that the only time, or it could
at
least that you remember?
Well, yeah, because that's when Messier guaranteed the Game 6 victory to force Game 7. They won. They went to the Cup, and
then Brodeur, you know, running around.
Yeah,
the
sister-in-law,
winning Stanley Cups.
What do you think about Prefer being concerned about? Is that a bite gone from the soundboard?
Is that a bite is gone from the soundboard? It is gone from the soundboard.
I think you're a little disappointed that it's not.
Well, I didn't know people were asking for it. I thought it was over. I never
I thought that was in our top 5 though.
Was it? It wasn't in my top 5.
Really? So what's number 1?
Number 1 for me?
Yeah.
It's tough, but I think it's that you're not doing your job.
You're not doing your job. Wow.
It's pretty good. Or strike 3 is good.
Strike
Bullshit.
3. There's been so many. I'm almost blanking. Like what else is up there? That's too high. That is up there. I don't know if it's a little sabbatical. That one's up there. So that kind of annoys me. That's up there. The bugaboo, Tony. That's got to be up there. Oh, Mr. Poo-Poo.
That's been in there forever, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see, dude. There's some of that, you know, there's.
I said word. Ain't never told no lie.
You like that one?
Prefer does. Hibachi story.
Since I started playing these sound bites,
Gentleman Jack.
we've been getting a lot more viewers.
Tony's favorite team.
That's got to be up there for you.
Yeah, throw a couple shekels up there. Could be a nice payday. I can't decipher regarding the Yankees. Michael, any input here? Best bite. Go!
Best bite.
Wow,
that's a good one too.
Prefer. That's gotta be it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
for Barnes,
that is
so-
what it's all about.
And like his voice is hilarious. In
Does-
the,
I
thought he was full of shit.
Does Rodon sign on the dotted line tonight?
in the morning.
let me
you'll
finish,
have
Tony.
the
Does
news.
Dave think it's happening? Did he say anything today? Or you didn't listen?
I didn't
No,
listen
Dave
to the
didn't
full
talk
thing.
about it.
I'm
He wouldn't.
No, he's he was talking
no,
about
and
the
actually,
Jets
I
and
was
Giants.
just thinking about this. The reason they were actually saying Tatis, Rick actually mentioned it.
Sayonara.
And then people were calling him out. Oh, he's not a baseball insider. How would he know? What do you think about it? But I don't think Rick's going to just say something for nothing, no? Tony?
Legend.
Why do you think he said it, though? Just to get like an awry out of
No,
it?
no, I think he believes it.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
But just
Little bit of
like,
an
but
oddball.
with the whole A-Rod thing, I don't know how anybody could, and just their hesitancy to spend money, and then you're going
Right.
to go to a steroid guy. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that would
Jimmy
be
G, man.
a serious consideration. But he doesn't seem like a BSer. That's all I'm saying.
No, he doesn't. But I mean, in reality, Tatis, steroids or not, he's an incredibly young, talented player. And I think he can get off the schneid,
Mets
We don't need a shortstop,
outfield.
I guess.
But see, so you would have trepidation. That's the whole point I'm trying to
Well,
make.
it's just how is he going to fit,
I'm not even concerned about fit. I'm just concerned about. I know maybe it was only one cycle, but the body breakdown. I mean, if you just take one, I mean, is there a chance you could just make it out okay, have a career till 40, no joint problems?
I think so. And again, I mean, I feel like he's young enough,
Yeah. I hate that he did that. He was so exciting to watch.
Loser, dude.
No, he really blew it, dude.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it's amazing if you
Yeah.
think back to how highly regarded he was a year ago compared
Mhm.
to now.
No, literally.
Now
It's
he has an
unbelievable.
albatross of a
Yeah.
contract.
It's annoying.
But yeah, so excited for Rodon to come to town. We'll obviously
Yes.
keep everybody posted there. But as we wrap it up, Tony, anything else on the way out?
On the way out, dude, just fucking enjoy that Monday out there.
Beat the Devils.
Beat the Devils. Let's go.
Yeah, because then I believe there's 3 matchups between the teams this year, so we'd be tied at 1 apiece, and then it's all down to 1 game
Yeah, I believe so.
plus
yes.
playoffs. Do you think there's a playoff matchup in the future?
Absolutely.
Eastern Conference
Possibly.
Finals?
Yeah.
100%.
1,000,000%.
Mhm.
You like that, huh?
Where did that come from?
No, I was just.
Do I do that sometimes?
No, I don't know. I just wanted to make sure you would know I'm listening. Just
No, but I think there's like a hidden message, Tony.
yeah,
behind it.
could be, dude. Could be. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah,
But listen,
dude.
what a day, what a show. We
What a
really
show. What a
appreciate
life.
everybody tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and
Sayonara,
subscribe.
Tony.
The archives on the YouTube page, Tony Michael Renee in
Yeah,
costume.
baby. Subscribe, baby.
The merch, downtimetv.com. The winter collection is coming.
Yes.
The Rangers are coming for the Devils.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. Big game tonight at the Garden.
Let's fucking go.
I want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy
go
the
Rangers, baby.
games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.